so it is here you have the agenda for the meeting today and tomorrow. So once more, so I really want to thank EHA and mainly Ellen for the organization. I didn't do before because it is usually the first words are to tell hello, but not all the people is on the room. But now that everybody is here and there are more and more attendees on the virtual way, I really want to thank Ellen and all the team of the EHA for organizing this hybrid meeting. Hybrid meetings are really totally a challenge because we have to manage here and we have to manage out of here, and trying to combine both things, it is quite difficult. At least it is not really, but it is working very well. And it is quite very important for all of us. So we'll have this couple of presentations and we want really to receive your feedback. Mostly, so it will be no long presentations, but let's see, concrete, focused presentation in order to provide the better discussion as possible. Later on, we will have a break and we will have a couple of more presentations, one coming from the industry, from Pfizer, Farsad Ali Farsad will do a presentation, also virtual one, and also we will have the patient presentation in that today it will be Tamas Beresky who will give the talk. Later, and before we finishing today, we will have, let's say, the focused presentation in the different diseases. We will start today and we will continue tomorrow. We'll have today acute myeloid leukemia and myeloma, CLL, and acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And for tomorrow, we will start at 9 with also with the continuation of this presentation in CML, myeloproliferative disorder, MDS, and non-Hodgkin lymphoma. And we will have also a keynote presentation tomorrow by Anna Sureda, who will be the next president of the EBMT, and also from Nigel Hughes, who is the coordinator of the EDEN project. This is one of the data distribution projects in the big data for better outcomes in IMI. And after the break tomorrow, we will have the General Assembly and we will finish around 2 tomorrow. And I hope you enjoy. So as we have done in the previous meetings, what we want to do is really an interactive meeting. So providing the results, doing the update, but also receiving your feedback. And let's trying to do what we made and how we can, let's say, to the things that at least we don't fulfill all. So we have the meeting, we have the platform, and we also have an harmonization, data harmonization for most of the data that we are receiving now. And now we have to increase the use of the omic data and also to speed up the drug development that is there much more for the future, not for now. This is one of the typical pictures here, just to provide you the overall scope that in Harmony, any stakeholder is welcome. All the stakeholders are included: industry, public, academic, hospitals, patients, policymakers, HTAs, any kind regulatory agencies. So it is the way in which we can do the best support of our patients. And these are the numbers of the Harmony Alliance. The Harmony Alliance, actually, we are more than 400 people working on it. We have identified over 80,000 cases, numbers, even more than 90,000 patient datasets. And we have included in the all Harmony, Harmony Plus, over 100 organizations working at the European and now also at a trans-European level. Harmony is a project of 5 years it has to be finished in 1 month from now, but we have get the extension. We will go in the next slide to provide some information regarding how the IMI projects are moving and how are the discussions with the IMI office, usually from the coordination. And this is involving now Harmony 18 European countries with 53 partners. Just to provide you an idea, this is something that has been performed, I think, yesterday, because we received the information the day before yesterday. This is an IMI project, and this is what, at the time that we decided as a consortium 1 year ago to ask for a prolongation of 1.5 years, 18 months, we started to do this. And I don't know how many mails, how many theses, how many meetings, virtual meetings with the IMI office, and the main reason was that usually IMI is not providing so long extension periods of time. So they are usually providing 6 months or 12, but never 18 months. We justify this prolongation because we received this advice from the panel for the external reviewers a couple of years ago, and mostly because we also have been affected by the COVID-19. So in that case, we use these arguments for asking a period of 18 months, and we just received the okay and the final signature the day before yesterday. So we have to be happy because the project will finish at the end of June in 23. So it means that we have 19 months. It seems to be a long period of time. My experience is that this is no time. So again, no time, but we will not have more time. But at least both projects will be more or less finished at the same time. June 23, Harmony. October 23, Harmony Plus. Harmony Plus is doing well. So we started 1 year ago. We are 39 partners and 8 associated partners. And in Harmony Plus, we are starting to receive projects. Now we have, I think, approved about 3 projects, and also 2 or a couple of more projects are coming. And they are now in the phase in which we will do the final approval of the projects. And this is something that is doing well, but is still in this, let's say, involvement of the data providers, of the associated members, and so on. And this is our platform, the big data platform. You know this slide. I will not go in deep because I will need more than 1 hour to explain this. This is a long process in which the data that you produce in your hospital, in your working cooperative groups, in your institutions, are going to be, let's say, digested in the database. You know that we are using a double pseudonymization system in which the data has been anonymized in origin, but later on we also perform a double check of this. This takes always time, and this is the main reason of the delay to incorporate some of the data that you are sending us. So it is, usually the delay is about 6 months, 6-8 months sometimes, but it is because we have to be absolutely we have to respect all the GDPR rules, and this is something that generate these kind of delays. And this is the data life cycle in which more or less you will have the data here in the upper left side in red. You submit the data to the trusted third party. They analyze the data. They send you the remarks in the case that the data they are not okay. The data are going to our Harmony platform, and we started to do the quality report of this data, who will manage all the data and who will evaluate the quality of the data. So it doesn't make, so you can send us, let's say, 2,000 cases. If, let's say, 1,000 don't fulfill all the quality, so we have to remove from the database because we have to include in the database the real good quality data in order to do all the projects, in order to do all these ideas that we are planning, that we are actually running in Harmony. So data carrying that in the quality report and the data harmonization is other question, that other issue that we have now, because data harmonization, we are using OMOP as a standard to do this harmonization. Ash Data Hub is using the same standard. So I think we are doing in a right way, but this harmonization is not automatically. So it takes time for GMB. They are here. They can explain you, in case you want, how the process to do the data harmonization takes time. We are trying to short these times. We are including more and more people in the data harmonization, but it is as more cases we are including in the database, you will see now the figures, the data harmonization become more and more bottleneck that we have to avoid. And this is something that we were working all the year or this year, and we had to work in the next months also. After that, the data are stored in the platform, and they are ready for the analysis, and you will see the results in the next talks. Well, here they are the data. I just have to tell you thank you, so I cannot tell any other thing. So for me, from my side, it's almost unbelievable that this increase in pandemic times, in which we have double the data intake and the data identification during this year. So we are now going from this, it is not totally clear, from about 50,000 cases to almost 100 cases. And these are 3 bars. In blue, they are the data already transferred. In red is the data that already has been committed, but they are still on the trusted third party and so on. And in the green column, there is the data that we have identified. And we are now getting 100,000 cases, most of them in the last year. So it is something that really is, I think they are really important figures. And from those who are sharing data with us, I only have a sentiment of gratitude, really feeling that you are really great for sharing data, and thank you so much for this. These are the distribution of the already identified data, these 97,000 cases identified, the distribution in the different countries in Europe. You will see that there are about 20 different countries in Europe, and now we are also expanding to South America, to Australia, and to States also to have the opportunity to go to be out of Europe. And this is the distribution of the cases already transferred to the database regarding the different diseases. So there is over 20,000 AML transfer now in process to be harmonized. 15,000 myeloma, 10,000 MDS, over 10,000 ALL, and so on. Here we have also to that some kind of criticism. So we have to improve non-Hodgkin lymphoma. It is always a matter. But okay, I hope that we will also get these non-Hodgkin and Hodgkin lymphoma data in the next year. But we are there. Projects. So a total of 19 projects are currently discussing and moving inside the platform. And we have received also, in addition, 2 projects recently approved in AML and CLL. And we have received also 3 new proposals that are now in the evaluation process in November. I don't know, maybe we have to stop here because it is quite a large number of projects to be submitted and to be managed. But I also thank all of you because you are some of the PIs of these projects, and we need now to go ahead and to finish the different projects. 19 projects, I think, is quite a large number. And these are just to have an idea, the presentation that we will have in the ASH meeting. We will have an oral presentation regarding the role of the GA2021 in AML, in addition to the MNT3 mutations. We will also have 3 poster presentations. 2 of them are regards AML. I want to focus that one of these presentations is a, let's say, is an element that we have generated in order to calculate which is the specific risk for one specific patient regarding the age and regarding the gene mutations at the present of at time of diagnosis, which is according to our data, which is the data life expectation with or without allogeneic bone marrow transplantation. And we will also have the continuation of the CLL that now they are growing and really producing a lot of data. These are the publications that we have sent or circulated. There we have published about a couple of papers. There are still one paper from the Work Package 6 regarding the added value in the comparison of the added value submitted to value in health, and now is in second review. And the myeloma team also submit a paper, and hopefully we will have a final approval. Thank you, Mattia, because you were in charge of this. And this, I know that this is a very good paper, and this is a very good building about a new prognostication of myeloma patients. So our data lake is just having more and more data. And one of the things that in which we were mostly involved in the last couple of months, and Guillermo will provide later on in his presentation more details, is the quality of the data that we are collecting. Not all the data has all the variables that we are asking for, but as you can see here, for instance, you will see that for over 5,000 cases of AML, we have a quite amount of different variables, including NGS, including outcomes, disease-free survival, response to the therapy, and so on, who will facilitate any kind of project, any kind of idea that we are planning to do. So in these cycles, you see that most of the information is collected for most of the patients. If we look at the myeloma data, maybe Mattia don't know this slide, but this is a new performance that we have generated. In myeloma, we have most of the data for more than half of the patient, let's say 60-70%, but from some patients, for instance, we lack the information in 11q because it is something that was not performing, let's say, 15 years ago, so we don't have this information. This is the information that we lack now in this, because this is real-world data. And we have a look on the CLL data. We have collected less variables, but most, if not all, of the fields are already fulfilled. And this is something that is allowing for the CLL team. And they are planning to send the manuscript in the first quarter or in the first couple of months of the next year. So in summary, so these are the numbers, these are the quality. I only have to thank you, not only for being here, but also for sharing data. I think we have now numbers, we have now results. We will start to discuss results. And also we have a common goal, that is the improvement of the quality of life of patients. Thank you so much. And please come here with your data and with ideas to exploit in an appropriate way the data. Thank you very much.
Hello. We have one question from Anthony, and we immediately proceed with Guillermo Sanz.
Okay, perfect.
The question is here, you can read it. Thank you.
Anthony Moorman is, congratulations on the grant extension, great news. Will Harmony remain open to accept new data set until June 2023? Okay, that's a good question. So I think we have to discuss this point, Anthony. Maybe we have to keep in mind that the database, as we have always this delay of about 3 months, the data harmonization and so on, maybe we have to think in the not to close the database on December 22, because we also have to think about sustainability. In a sustainable model, we have to be open at any time, because we have to plan to work even after 2023. In this horizon, the database will be open. Open in case of sustainability. If we are looking at the, let's say, deliverables and data justification regarding IMI office, I think we have to think to, let's say, trying to close all the projects by December next year, at least to have the possibility to exploit this data in the first half of the 2023. But the database, from my point of view, must be open for the sustainable philosophy. I don't know if it is okay, and this is, but also it's something that is a matter that we also can discuss. Okay, maybe we can move to the Guillermo talk, and if not, we will do much more question and answer later.
We don't have time for questions and answers. Apologies. Crew, can you put Mr. Yeah, thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me well? Yes. Okay. Well, dear partners, associated members, and colleagues, in this talk, I will cover 3 topics of major relevance for the success of the Harmony Alliance: the expectations, challenges, and solutions of generating real-world data, one of our main aims; the kind of data that we should prioritize for uploading in the big data platform; and some potential approaches to enhance the quality of the data we collect. Next slide. These are my disclosures. I would like to disclaim that the content of this talk reflects my personal viewpoint, which might not necessarily be shared by the governance bodies and partners of the Harmony Alliance. Next slide. And let's start with the background. Next slide. This slide shows the major objectives of the Harmony and Harmony Plus projects and their status and accomplishments so far. They are depicted in 3 different colors. In black, those already achieved; in blue, those in progress; and in red, the ones still to be attained. During the last 4 years, we have made great advances despite the difficulties and delays we have experienced due to the stringent EU General Data Protection Regulation and the COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide. As you can appreciate, we still have to perform a strong effort to achieve all our goals. And to really succeed, we need to implement several urgent actions that have a lot to do with the next topic of these presentations. Next slide. I will start with expectations, challenges, and solutions that real-world evidence has a need to face. Farshad Ali, Pfizer's representative within the Harmony Alliance, will also address in more detail the potential usages of real-world data in his afternoon presentation. The expectations include, first, to assess the outcome of therapies in real life and contrast their results with the one observed in clinical trials. Second, to identify new biomarkers such as somatic gene mutation and other variables capable of predicting the outcomes of a patient after particular therapy and leading us to a tailored treatment for the individual. In third place, real-world data can be used to support regulatory agencies and health technology assessment bodies and payers in the approval process and financial support, respectively, of novel drugs and combinations by offering them a huge and homogeneous comparator. And last but not least, to speed up development of more efficient drugs. Several usages of real-world data for this purpose include the recognition of short-term outcomes that may be considered as surrogates of overall survival or other long-term outcomes, and the design of easier clinical trials, such as single-arm trials that might use real-world data as the standard of care arm. Other potential advantage of real-world evidence is that regulators may be more prone to the urgent or conditional approval of new drugs by increasing their trust in having readily available confirmatory data on the results of clinical trials. And the COVID-19 pandemic has been an excellent example of this. Finally, and not showing this slide, by identifying in advance centers treating patients with rare somatic mutations for a target therapy trial, and thus focusing the trial to those centers while avoiding other institutions without recruitment capacity. Next slide. And the benefits for all stakeholders expected from real-world data are not trivial. Reducing the investment of pharmas in clinical trials and accelerating drug approval would result in a longer life cycle of novel drugs and therefore would speed up patient access, decrease drug market prices, and contributing to maintain the sustainability of healthcare systems, and finally, boosting personalized medicine. Next slide. This slide shows the main challenges that real-world data face and the solutions that the Harmony Alliance has implemented to face them. To deal with the heterogeneity of data dictionaries among institutions and to allow the entry of new data and the uptake of those already in the platform, we have harmonized the data to a common data model, the OMOP, and created a hash that recognizes the patient record without identifying the patient. The de facto anonymization and big data platform we have developed fulfill all regulatory issues. An education and communication plan has been set up to give visibility and stimulate the entry of new data providers. Finally, to face the survival of the Harmony projects beyond the IMI grant period, we are already working in a sustainability plan. Next slide. Now I will talk about the kind of data we need. Next slide. All data are welcome, but the most relevant are basic data, gene mutations, treatment outcomes, and patient-reported outcomes. And I will briefly discuss why they should be our priority. Next slide. Basic data diagnoses are essential not only for describing the main patient characteristics in a scientific report or for evaluating their prognostic value on a particular outcome. As constant values, they permit us to create the hash algorithm, crucial for updating and introducing new patient data in the database in an accurate and secure way. Many of the advantages of collecting gene mutational data have already been discussed. I would underline here their value for understanding the pathophysiology, development, and progression of any hematological malignancy, and their great importance for identifying new treatment targets. The relevance of harvesting real-world data on treatment outcomes, especially after novel drugs and combos, does not require any additional explanation from my side. Finally, the recording of patients' reported outcomes, as we clearly learned in the recent call with patients' organizations in Harmony, is also essential. In many instances, the vision of the patient about the relative importance of an outcome is quite different to the physician's one. As a patient-centered organization, Harmony should consider the inclusion of patient-reported outcomes data as a must and properly rewarded. Further, and as it should be, this data, as well as patients' organization points of view, are increasingly taken into account by regulatory agencies, HTAs, and payers for the approval and funding of novel drugs. And I would like to end this session of this talk reminding all of you, next slide, that as a PPP, high-quality data from both public and private sites must be collected for achieving all the goals of the Harmony Alliance. Next slide. The last part of this talk will address potential approaches we should take on to improve data quality and enhance the strength of the alliance. Next slide. We should emphasize on being able to transmit to any potential Harmony's new member, whether public or private, the enormous mutual benefits of data sharing and overcome the resistance to collaborate with the alliance. As the open organization we are, we should also try to get the involvement of as many new members as possible, offering them a substantial role in the alliance. To capture current and relevant research and treatment data would not only help us to attain our aims, but could also greatly increase the scientific production and visibility of the Harmony projects among the scientific community that does not appreciate their importance yet. Next slide. Last, we should be capable to make it clear to potential new members the transparency of the different standard operating procedures that are already in place. To sum up, the success of the Harmony Alliance is the responsibility and obligation of all of us. Next slide. I stop here and ready for taking questions. And I would like to remember that we have set up a multimeter for you to being able to do so. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you, Guillermo. And now we have time for some discussion, I hope. Okay. Questions on the room? Elizabeth? No questions in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So Elizabeth?
Thank you, Guillermo. Can you maybe comment on, I understand that the WHO is coming up with a guidance position paper on the ethics of access to and transparency in data deposition. Are you aware of when the community will get access to this document?
I'm not. I do not have this information, Elizabeth.
I mention it because it's not just Harmony that has a problem with reticence in data sharing. And what I've heard of this document is it sounds like it's going to be a helpful, pragmatic addition. So I hope it will come out reasonably soon.
Hopefully.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
I would like to ask the crew to find Ian Thomas, because he also has a question. Hold on for a second. If not, we'll read out loud. Can you confirm?
Oh, hi there. Yes, I'm just about to go to another meeting, so I'll
Good.
make it really quick. In the UK, there's been an issue with licensing of Venetoclax in the last month or so. Brian might be able to give some more detail than I know. In relation to a lack of health economic data, so the clinical data is obviously very compelling, but is there any thought among the Harmony group about collection of health economic data that will also support these strong clinical data sets?
That is an excellent idea, and we should take notice of that, Ian. Yeah,
of course. I think it is. We are open to receive this kind of data. So hopefully from the data and also from the idea or the project that you want to explore with this data. But I think it is we are totally open to receive this data. Thank you so much. Elizabeth?
I think that's a very nice principle, but the logistics of doing health economic studies at the European level are considerable. If you talk to health economists, they say it's difficult at a national level. I think it's over ambitious, and I really don't see how the Harmony structure, however exciting it might be, I think it's a tall order for you to start doing international health economics.
Yeah,
that's complete. Oh, sorry.
No, Guillermo.
Oh, that's completely true, Elizabeth. But for instance, in the European MDS registry, we are collecting data on health economics because we know that this is an important issue now, and I think that could be greater in the future.
Well, what are you collecting, Guillermo?
Oh, this is part of the NICE and people that is working within the European MDS registry, but very summarized. We are reporting the time spent at hospital, number of transfusions. We are considering the different prices of the drugs and so on. There are a lot of items regarding this.
So NICE is doing it for Britain or for Europe?
Well, okay, we have
question.
Dalia here from NICE, so I think maybe it's your time to tell us. So hello, Dalia, and
hi everyone.
maybe we are talking about NICE, so you are here. So I think you are the
I'm a
best.
health economist by background as well. So it's collecting resource use data. So outpatient visits, inpatient visits, medication use. All this information can be and should be collected actually, and also quality of life data, of course, is relevant to health economic analysis. For the MDS, we are working, I think what you are mentioning, Guillermo, is our work on the HTX project with the University of York. So we are doing an economic evaluation there. And that's exactly what we are going to do. For analyses on a regional level, the problem is that you can't combine. Essentially, there are multiple ways of doing it. So you can use it either on report it on a country level, so you don't combine the results across countries, because these are very jurisdiction specific. You need to report the results by country, actually. So, but the data, collecting the data from the different countries is definitely very helpful. You can even compare between countries in terms of better resource use patterns, costs, and all these studies are very useful.
I agree. And if each country could do it for their country and then we could compare at the European level, It would be enriching for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it is. So we have not all the stakeholders in Harmony, but most of the stakeholders. So, and if we get a project and we have so what I want to say is that Harmony platform is ready to receive this kind of data, to collect this kind of data. And maybe we also have the stakeholders and the industry members, some of them mainly involved in health economy, together with the regulatory agencies, with HTAs, that they are really experts on the field. So they will, let's say, they will review the project, and if they found that this project is feasible, it is something that we can manage in the Harmony inside.
What I'm hearing there, Jesus, is that we need close interaction with our member state health economic competent authorities.
Totally in agreement.
Okay. May I interrupt a little bit? We have two more remarks or questions. And one is the MDS Alliance. I'm checking with the crew if they find them. And if not, yes, we find them.
Okay.
Let's tune in.
Go ahead.
Hello, Sophie, you're on camera.
Hello there.
Hello.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
On another meeting running in parallel with the MDS Alliance, which doesn't make it very easy, but I'm here.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Sophie.
Yes, so we would very much welcome a cooperation between Harmony and HTA bodies, because I can speak on obviously from an MDS perspective. There is so much uncertainty regarding the response rate to certain drugs, and this is placing an enormous barrier in HTA processes to the approval or the recommendation of these drugs. Recently, there's been one of the drugs has not even been submitted to NICE, and probably won't be. So because of that uncertainty. So we would absolutely welcome cooperation, additional information from Harmony to feed into the HTA processes, and not just with NICE, but with the Canadian HTA process as well.
No, you're right. I think we should continue doing the job that we have started with NICE, with other HTAs, and I think that one of the things that Harmony can provide is what I say in my talk, that for regulators now response rate continues to be not sufficient evidence for the approval of a drug in MDS. But if we are able to show in real world that response rate is a surrogate of overall survival in patients with MDS, that could be great. And if it is an endpoint that is accepted by the health authorities and HTAs, I think that could be a great success and for the Harmony Alliance.
I'm looking at the clock a little bit because actually we
Okay,
plan
we have
a break right now.
one additional question.
Yes,
please.
it is from Solène Claveux. Did you find her? Yes, I suggest this is the last one. There she is.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Solène from Myeloma Patient Europe. My questions was regarding quality of life and PRO data. So for us, it's really great to see that this is considered now as priority data and that it's recognized that it's one of the most important things for patients. And we are now experiencing some issues getting access to this data on the Harmony platform. And I was wondering how in the future this will be encouraged, or what will be the incentive for contributors to share this data and make sure this is available for all kind of research projects.
We have discussed with the patient associations in our call 2 weeks ago that the relevance of patient-reported outcomes and quality of life should be taken into consideration and reimbursed this kind of data according to the relevance. And that is where the data quality supervising committee is now doing, that is reviewing the different cost matrix for the different hematological malignancies and increase, let's say, the proportion in the overall reimbursement for these specific outcomes.
Yeah, Mattia.
It's great to hear that.
Mattia has a myeloma.
Hi, Solène. We write each other by email. I think that apart from the reimbursement, the key to success to obtain PROs and is to identify registries that actually have both real-world data and patient-reported outcomes. So in the data that we have now in the myeloma are clinical trials from several years ago, when the PROs were not, there was not a consensus on what PRO to be collected, etc. So for many of these trials, we have no PROs available. However, in the new registries, these are included, and I think that the efforts should be there to acquire that registries.
Yeah, in fact,
that is the reason. Yeah. Oh, sorry. No. Please, Jesus.
No, in fact, we were looking for this PRO data from the very beginning, but we didn't find. So I don't know if they are there. So if they are there, please. So from some of you that will have data coming from quality of life, good data, okay? It will be identified and it will be reimbursed, as Guillermo already stated. So it was one of our aims from the very beginning. So it is, we are really committed to the patient-reported outcomes. And the main issue here is that there are not so many databases containing this type of data, but any kind, let's say, patient advocacy group or working cooperative group with good patient-related outcomes, please come to us and we will include this data, because these are one of the most important and relevant questions that we submitted in the grant. So it was just written there that we will be focusing this, but we lack this data. So, but we are extremely working on the field to find this kind of data.